So I'm back. Explore random systems for high-end content. Okay. I can live with that. I think we will be doing some multiplayer in the near future, perhaps tomorrow. We could go take a look around a little bit and see if we can get some sense of what the other areas are like. Let's go look at the new mech we picked up in the mech bay. And where's our 100-ton Atlas 2? I imagine this thing could be pretty great once I strip all the nonsense off of it, like a medium fucking or heavy pulse lasers or extended range heavy pulse lasers or whatever the fuck these things are. So what does it actually have? 4 support hardpoints is interesting. 6 laser hardpoints, 2 ballistic hardpoints, 2 missile hardpoints, 3 jump jet hardpoints. It has a couple double heat sinks, 5 double heat sinks for us, which is great. It's running a medium pulse. Damage 30, heat 20. Double the heat for 5 more damage, really? And it weighs more. What a terrible, terrible item. Alright, we're taking those off. And those off. Question is, what do we want to do with this monster? Could I make it the new autocannon dude? I mean, it has 2 autocannons. We could make it a better version of the Highlander that we're using. If we're just brawling, it doesn't make any sense to run autocannons. They're not any better than anything else when we're brawling. Could be a pretty... I mean, we have those 2 stalkers now, which we just set up for brawling. So a part of me just wants to see how much damage we could make this do. Let's see how much damage we can make this thing do if we did it realistically. Let's pull these heat sinks off. Can you imagine putting Lost Tech fucking heat sinks on arms? What kind of crazy, crazy, crazy man are you? Let's get rid of that autocannon. An LRM randomly, sure. Let's max that armor out. It's considered an assault jump jet. Tonnage 3, sure, sure. And if we just wanted, if we wanted to get that alpha approaching our stalker, could we do it? I don't like how it has 4 slots in its fucking center torso. That's disappointing. So, lasers on the arms, or whatever. If we just wanted it for absolutely murderizing stuff, could we do that? What if it's just about murderizing? How are we on heat right now? Is it finally time to use an autocannon? Because we're literally out of hard points. It's a nice problem to have. I guess we should sort out the heat before I agree to that. So let's take a look at this. This is 60 heat. Lasers pulling another 5. I don't really consider small lasers something worth talking about for heat though. So let's call it that 6. Oh, we gotta get ammo. And we're gonna be using 12 around. 200 is fine. And oops, other way. Let's go equipment. Why don't my other heat sinks show up in my heat sinks? So this is 20, 40, 60 heat. The double heats off this is 14 a piece, so it's 60 and 24 is 88 heat minus 30 leaves us at 58 heat. 58 heat to get rid of via heat sinks. Why is it so fucking hot, by the way? 58 divided by 3 is 19 heat sinks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 heat sinks. 16, 17, 18, 19. Still a lot of tonnage. Okay. Not really interested in checking out the third Slay the Spire class quite yet. Moving heat sinks to arms makes me feel bad, but what can we say about that? Ballistic weapons. Optimal 300, minimum 0. It's interesting. Minimum 120. Oh, the ballistics one on the other side. Oops. Okay. It's before ammo too. So we really can't get enough heat sinks on here without using those Lost Tech ones. There are some AC-10s on there, I suppose. Still gonna be overheat here by a lot. So if we end up being something like this, so what's the actual damage on this then? If we were to run this. So this is 150. These are 48 a pop. No, they aren't. These are upgraded. Let's do it with basic numbers right now. Let's just say they're 48 a pop, which is what a basic SRM6 does. It's really mixing and matching right now. So call them about 50 a pop. So we're at 150 is 200 is 250. And what's the AC 10 do? 250 plus another 60. Looking at about 310. We're not heat neutral even before jump jetting or before small lasers. If we can get behind somebody though, we guarantee a one shot pretty much. I mean, that is another 20, 40, 60, 20, 40, 60, 90, right? So we're looking at 400 damage if we jump jet behind someone and shoot them. Like, what the fuck survives 400 damage? I mean, this thing only has 160 center torso structure, and back armor max is 160. Nothing survives that. It just one-shots anything it gets behind. As long as it can precision shot. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Utilizing most of its weapon hard points. What else could we do? If we made it like AC 20s, so that's the brawler. Well, I don't. It's no problem to get a ton back here. It's not even an issue. I just don't know if I actually want to do this fit. I just wanted to see what it could potentially do. What about... Doesn't have the ballistic hard points, does it? Could this possibly be a PPC related? Could this be the only time we ever want to use a PPC? Not actually the button I wanted to press. I wanted to strip everything off. I just clicked undo. Alright, I think the other thing we need to do, chat, is I think we need to restart the game, because this is ridiculous how slow things are loading right now. So let's go restart the game. I don't want to wait 20 seconds on a loading screen. I think it was around 310. It's the Gauss rifle fit. Well, that's the thing I want to look at, Fender Wolf, next, is I want to look at it as potentially a line of sight damage dealer. Alright. Hum of that mech bay gets a little bit old too. I did delete my game files, save files to make the game go smoother. I did that between Sunday and between Saturday and today. Oh my god. Yep, chat, tried all that. Chat, I've done that. Doesn't save me restarting all the time. It made no difference whatsoever. So I suppose the advantage to that would be over the advantage of doing that over LRMs would be hypothetically damage. Well, I've been making a tactics slash loadout slash pilot builds video. Maybe. Maybe. I'm tempted. It's certainly fun. Alright, we were messing with this guy. We were thinking about... Oh, he doesn't have enough autocannon, so it would have to be PPCs. So let's just right now strip the arm. Let's strip the equipment. And let's look at what it would look like to be PPCs or days in this guy. Remember, these are 40 heat each. Optimal is 360. Why do I want to use a PPC? Does it do more? Tell me it does more damage than... Tell me it does more damage than an LRM. I haven't actually looked at these numbers in a little bit. Let's go take a look. Does it do more damage than an LRM? Let's take a look. PPC, weapon stats. PPC, damage, no less damage per ton. Let me just... I don't care about damage per ton. I just want to know... Oh, damage per ton compared to an LRM. No. PPC does 7.14 damage per ton compared to an LRM 20, which does 8 damage per ton. So it requires line of sight, doesn't do nearly as much stability damage, costs way more heat, and does less damage. Why do I want to use this weapon system? Has a bigger single target hit. That's what I'm paying for. Doesn't factor in ammo. But we do have an adjusted average damage per ton. Sure. The adjusted average damage per ton with an LRM 20 is, and this is the worst case scenario. This is 1 bit of ammo per LRM 20. is 7.27 adjusted damage. PPC is still 7.14. So everything I said is still true, including 1 rack of ammo. Yeah, but when you get to a certain level, so chat's telling me right now for the VOD, that chat's telling me that, you know, PPCs do damage to a single location. Well, sure. But if you're shooting a mech that has more HP than the PPC does in a single shot, and you have 6 PPCs, it doesn't actually really matter very much, right? Because the 6 PPCs are still randomly assigned where they're going to hit. It's not as random as, like, LRMs. LRMs are going to consistently spread their damage pretty evenly because there's a million small LRM hits per. The PPC is going to be a little bit more spiky, but if the unit's surviving PPC hits anyways, like 1 or 2 PPC hits to a location, then it makes no difference. It's just massively less efficient. Are the autocannons as bad as that too? Yeah, they're even less efficient. The AC-20 gets up to the same damage per ton efficiency as a PPC with double the volley. It's just a close range weapon. Why do I want this mech then? Or why do I want that build? I don't think I do want that build. Huh. Alright. Okay, I made a classical filthy error, which is where I assumed that I was going to let chat choose for me, and then realized after doing that that I have no desire to let chat choose for me. So, I'm going to just, you know, pull the dictator card. We're not actually going to go hunt more missions right this instant, because although I might find interest in that at some point, what I actually want to start thinking about is when refitting is different. So we kind of explored the refitting in this game, and I gotta say, having played the whole campaign now, what seemed the strongest to me were things that could take advantage of enemy positioning. AI positioning seems particularly bad in this game. Not like they're doing dumb things or running into walls, but they don't really pay attention to your ability to flank them and their ability to flank you. They don't focus fire your mechs. They pretty much shoot the closest mech every single time, the closest mech to them, which means they're almost always shooting you in bulwark, and they almost never use bulwark themselves. And what really seems to crush them then is precision shots to certain locations, jumping behind them and just blowing up their back, and otherwise just taking advantage of your morale and taking advantage of the most damage efficient weapon systems like medium lasers, machine guns, short range missiles, etc. And then knockdowns for farming, collecting gear. That's interesting, and it was fun to do that, and I enjoyed figuring that out, although it did leave me a little bit frustrated with some of the other weapon systems. But what I'm curious about is whether or not, when we go and look at the multiplayer side of it, there's an argument for different types of fitting. So in a multiplayer environment where there's no morale, or rather your morale is much more rare resource, you can't use targeted shot almost ever. You get maybe like 1 to 2 of them per multiplayer battle, and where because you don't have targeted shot, you can't choose stuff like that, and where the limitation is equal amounts of mech. So in other words, you're looking for the most efficient mech setups you can bring. That suddenly gets kind of interesting, because now there's a whole different fitting philosophy, or potentially could be a whole different fitting philosophy. So I want to look at that a little bit. Also, the other thing that the campaign doesn't punish you very well for, and multiplayer does again, is pilots. In the campaign, you have pilots that are played the entire time, so they're good at literally everything. So accuracy, like I don't pay attention to accuracy past like a very small portion of the game, because my guys are all like 90% accuracy or 85% accuracy, and if I get close enough, they're 100% or 95% accuracy, right? Or like LRM spam, it really doesn't matter. So I'm kind of curious now, if we start playing around with some of the multiplayer fittings, like how much of that changes. And I have started playing around with that a little bit, on my own time a little bit. I had just messing around with some ridiculous things. So we played some King Crab stuff. Oh my god, music. Too much. No, I want the options menu. I can't get it from this screen.